Hola, bienvenidos a la clase de español, or Spanish with Senorita Lott. This year I teach Spanish 1, Spanish 3, Honors Spanish 3, and 6th period Spanish 4. Here's a little information about me. I have my bachelor's in Spanish and teaching certification from Elmhurst University, my master's in Spanish language and literature from St. Louis University, and a master's in educational leadership from Concordia University. You'll also notice in the upper left-hand corner the Donate Life logo, as I am a kidney transplant recipient. Down on the bottom, there's a few things that I enjoy. I'll pause for a moment on this slide, but I'm really only going to talk about the phone number, as I will talk more about office hours later on. As you can see, I'm teaching from my craft room or scrapbooking room, so you can call me at that school phone number. However, you will need to leave a voicemail message there for me. Shortly after you leave the voicemail message, I will get an email that you have called and left a message for me. Once I check my email, I can then reply to you by phone or by email, whichever you prefer. I'm asking that everybody join our Google Classroom. I have the codes here if you're familiar with Google Classroom. Otherwise, simply send me an email and I will send you an invitation where you can join with just a click. You'll notice for Spanish 3 third hour, as well as Spanish 4 and 6th hour and Spanish 1 and 7th hour, that the number L is not a number 1. So the letter L, not a number 1. I'll pause for a moment if you'd like to write your student's Google Classroom code down. Otherwise, just drop me an email and I'll send you that invitation. Let's talk supplies. Mandatory supplies would be the Chromebook, a 3-ring binder with loose leaf paper, or a spiral notebook for Spanish class, but it needs to be dedicated to Spanish class. Your student will also need pencils, pencils, and a yellow highlighter. Multicolored items are probably best because they can help to identify things in their notes. Your students will also need solid white paper, computer paper, but we'll definitely not use an entire ream, not by any means. They'll use colored pencils and markers and crayons throughout the whole year, so those items would be needed. When we're face-to-face, I can supply the crayons. If possible, but not needed, individual size dry erase boards. A black dry erase marker and a small cleaning rag would be great. These individual size dry erase boards you can get at Target or Walmart or even the dollar store. If your student prefers, they can also just write this stuff down that we would do on the dry erase board onto solid white paper or even lined notebook paper, and using a bold marker so that it can be seen up through the camera. Helpful, but certainly not needed, would be index cards for flashcards and large paper clips to store them with. The index cards just hold up better than solid white paper from the computer or loose leaf paper, but they're not required. Let's talk grades. Skyward is updated Friday or Saturday because grades are due on Monday. Occasionally, I'll put some grades in during the week. If you think you find some sort of an error, please talk with me during either a Wednesday appointment or an email, and have that assignment and question handy or identifiable through the email. I'll be happy to look into it and make things right or explain why it is what it is. While you're reviewing grades in Skyward, please refer to the following keys. An asterisk means that this item has not been graded yet or may not even be due. Sometimes I put those assignments into Skyward simply so that you know that they are coming. If the assignment has a number given to it, that means that that is the grade that has been earned. If the number is a 0, that either means that it has not been turned in yet or that the student cheated on this particular assignment or project. In a case of cheating, I will always make a home contact. I will write a dean referral. And if the student is an athlete, the athletic director will also be notified because students that are athletes sign a code of conduct. As a parent, I hope that you will encourage daily study sessions and a weekly review of old material. A daily study session does not need to be long. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. It's whatever your student needs to feel like they know the vocabulary a little bit better. We'll talk about this in class as well. If your student says that he or she is done, ask if they've reviewed vocabulary on conjuguemos or if they've practiced their flashcards. One of the greatest reasons that a student struggles in Spanish is because of a weak vocabulary base. Vocabulary words need to be heard anywhere between 80 and 120 times in order for it to become an integrated part of the student's vocabulary base. If your student is struggling, please encourage a weekly meeting or asking me questions via email. I'll also stay in the Google Classroom for a couple moments after class is out in case they want to ask me something then. We can stay in contact via email, or you can reserve an appointment time with me on Wednesdays, or give me a phone call. Appointments can be made on any Wednesday through the link found in the resource section of your student's Google Classroom. They can be made by students or parents. If you are not available during the school day on Wednesdays, please send me an email. When a student logs into the Google Classroom and clicks on the Classwork tab, you'll see that there's a 5th hour class Zoom link. Whatever hour your student is in class with me, that's what that hour will read. I just copied this from the 5th hour's Google Classroom. The red arrow is the appointment link. If you click there, it'll take you to my Google Calendar where you can make an appointment to see me. I ask you to please be certain that you are on the correct date. You may have to change the date. You'll also see the links section. The links section is where students can go to see the Conjuguemos website, which is our online review site that we pay for every student to have an account there. I'll get them logged into that during the second or third week of school. Additionally, you can get a link there to a Spanish-English dictionary. Expectations. Classes meet on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And since we only have 30 minutes in a class time, I'm expecting that students will be on time, or better yet, even early to class. I would ask that students silence and put away cell phones and have a Spanish notebook by their computer with a writing utensil. The handouts should be somewhat close by too, in case we move forward. And most importantly, I ask that students be brave. It's so difficult in the early beginnings to speak Spanish because they're trying to make all these sounds. And even in the upper levels, learning new words, new tenses. It's hard, but it's fun. So speak Spanish as much as possible. Ask questions as needed. I'm a firm believer that if there's one student that asks a question, there's several more in the room that would like to ask that same question. Let's talk about some of the clubs that I sponsor. We will meet virtually until we're back face-to-face, hopefully in October. Spanish Club. We have a lot of fun with food, movies, and culture. Food's a little bit tricky right now with COVID going around, but we'll still find some ways to have lots of fun. Rotary Interact is a club where we put service before ourselves. It's a volunteer organization and a service organization where we serve others by volunteering our time, collecting donations, serving at the food pantry, and things like that. Rotary Interact is a great club opportunity for scholarships at the senior level. But longtime members have a better chance of getting the really big scholarships. Junior Board and Prom Committee. This is not just a junior committee. In this club or board, we learn about event planning from start to finish. We do fundraisers and prep prom all year round. If a student joins in the 9th and 10th grade, it will help him or her to plan for a better prom as they are an upperclassman. The junior board is made up of junior boards, but the committee needs all grade levels represented. And lastly, my contact information one more time. I'll pause here and let you write down anything you need.